I say a waste, waiting for a moment I feel with so much hate. No, you have no choice but to die. You will suffer your pain. Of what is lost can't be found. The human mind goes insane. Eradicate my eyes so I can never see. No, eradicate my eyes. Set my affected mind free from all this shit. Are you done with that? Won't you send the maggots together for the feast? The death is all around, still residing in the streets. And junkies in the alleyway shooting up smack. Bones sticking knuckle valor waiting on a heart attack. You have no choice but to die. You will suffer your pain. Of what is lost can't be found. That human mind goes insane. Eradicate my eyes so I can never see. No, eradicate my eyes. Set my affected mind away from all this shit. Yeah, you done with that? No! Oh, come on! No! Hookers on the corner, standing in line, waiting on this corner, we're going at a time. There's nothing road around us, have to get a start. The monkeys and the murderers can't even walk your parks. No! You have no choice but to die. And you will suffer your pain. Of what is lost can't be found. Your human mind goes insane. Eradicate my eyes so I can never see. No, eradicate my eyes. Set my affected mind free from all of this. Eradicate my eyes. I can never see. Oh, eradicate my eyes. Set my affected mind free from all this shit. Are you done with this? I say forget it. Right now!
Welcome to Canucks with Guitars. I'm Ben. That's Terry. That's Trev, who I can't unmute because he's like, oh, I master mute. Anyways, where it's live, it's Q&A. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. Decided to go with a different intro tonight. Just mix it up just for the sake of mixing it up. It's a new amp day in the house. Well, right there. Well, Thursday was new amp day, but new for Canucks with Guitars. Guys had the week off. You know, some guy named Tim Pierce took over last week's show.
That was awesome.
It was always great having him on. So, yeah, welcome back, guys. And let's I don't know, roll call, I guess.
Roll call.
Trev, do you want to do it this week?
I'd be happy to. I can just go over here.
Once someone takes the bait, Terry's always nope. Cat.
We've got Billy Baloney, Carl 75N, Corey's Garden, Dave Chase, Dennis Ellis, Eric Warrington, Bird Burful, Graphite Cigars, GTR 1952. It's Gary
from across the lake, as opposed to like you, it's across the ocean. It's not really lake.
Across a lot. Bo, Guitarman 45, Herb, Fireside Studio, Hip Metalworks, BC Brother, Joe Harvey, John Landino, Josh Talbert, Mark Taft, Martian Murray, Octopus Ears, cheers, Paul McNary and the Cats, Richard, Nagamatsu, Rob Baker, myself, Terry, Tim Thomas, and Zach Thaw. In no particular order.
Awesome. JP page 2, I see you there, yeah.
Oh, JP's just snuck in, yep.
Yeah,
Cheers,
Rob Baker in the house. Good to see Rob. An itchy nose. Yeah, great to see all y'all, as they say. So it is live Q&A. If you got the Q's, we got the A's. Zach Thong says you should send the track to Metalhead Hippie. Yeah, I don't promote it much though. It's just for personal use. It's like the same thing I tell the cops, Trev. It's just personal.
Well, I mean, probably also it would be a lot different if these guys were still together and playing.
This is true. If we were still an entity, I'd be all over promoting it. But
yeah.
Right, Dave Chase? He knows what I'm talking about. Josh Tamberg.
Is in the house as well. Good to see you, Riff, lurking as you do.
Dennis Ellis. Last night, one of last night's guests, Charles 75N, in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michael Kraus.
Michael Kraus. Awesome.
It's coming
right up. Okay, it was Joe Hervey that was in here first at 6:24 p.m. Eastern. Just saying.
Well, make sure you get a front seat.
Mm-hmm. He was that guy. You know when you drive by the venue at 2 p.m, Trev, and that one guy out there smoking a dart?
That's right. Down in New Jersey. P. Ricky.
Oh, itchy head. There we go.
Like I said, it's gotten to the point now that, you know, as much as it's great that we read off names, you know, we really are getting too many awesome people to the point of that it's getting a little long.
It's filler, Terry. Shh.
Yeah.
Less homework for the rest of us. You know,
it's all about this meeting. Gotta say hi to the folks.
If they take the time to say
hi,
yeah. Now, yeah, I will grant. Yeah, like last week when Tim was in, and by the time the intro video was done, it was like 100 people. I'm like, wow. Hi, everybody. You know that. Forget it. You know, just
BC Rich snuck in.
BC Rich, yeah. Well, he usually does do that. He waits for a very tall person to walk in, and he just follows suit, just right behind him.
I'm just simply saying it because, you know, even if we don't call somebody's name, you know, I think it's awesome, great that people have came in here and supported you in the past and support.
I appreciate it.
Know,
yeah.
Everyone else that's involved around the channel.
Right. Speaking of which, I'm shouting out patrons right off the bat tonight because I remembered I forgot to add 2 to the list, not 1 but 2 to the list.
Right on.
It's been a couple of weeks. There's that guy. What's his name? That's it. And then the other guy, I didn't recognize his name. So it wasn't Todd Deers, because I recognized Todd Deers' name. But became a patron. But like Trev, like for instance, I believe when you became a patron, it came up as Symmetry. Okay? But say someone else, it might come up as Trev with your last name. And I might not know. I'm like, so this person, I am not recognizing your first and or last. I recognize it because I know people with that name, but not together.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So I messaged the fella through Patreon, and he didn't reply back. So I'm just going to shout him out by his first name. So in the order that they're written in, I want to shout out LRM Guitars, and you can become a patron by going over to Patreon and search for my name and click add, join, follow, whatever. Mark Taft knows what I'm talking about. That's fine. Mark's great. He's an analog guy like me. I want to shout out LRM Guitars, T. Ricky, Carmen 45, Dog Flowers, Doug Strong, Rain Trucks, Mahogany, Fruitcake Tony, Blackjack Tart, Page, Paul McNary, and the Cats. Other left, Bird Burple, JP Page 2, this coming Sunday's John's ND351, HorsePro.com. Oh, I see. He was a patron, and then he was, because now his name's on here twice. It was a renewal situation. Jeff K. Here, Junk 35, Charles Green, of course, fucking unbelievable. Charles 75, Hot Rod Josh, and Neil, our newest patron. Neil. We'll just say Neil. Kurt 5150 in the house.
Cheers, Kurt. I am the fog machine.
My audio's in a blender? How is that possible?
It was a little gurgly there for a second.
Yeah.
It's probably my lack of bandwidth.
Could be.
Yeah, echo cancellation. So I don't know.
There's a lot of
RTC, get on your asses so Ben can actually get a decent connection finally.
electromagnetic activity going on with that big hole in the sun.
And I just saw Terry's private message. All right, well, fair enough. I don't know.
You're fine now.
All right. Well, we'll just go with that. Worst case, I could always try resetting the router, and then you guys got to take over the show for the 3 minutes while I'm offline, and then hope I can get back online. Because I haven't reset it in, I don't know, a few months.
Yeah, you should do it at least like once a week.
Brother John?
Do you do it once a week, Terry?
Actually, I do reset my modem once a week.
I only mention that because I'm one of those people too. I'll say, "Oh, you shouldn't do this." Well, do you do that? No, but you should.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, I know that adage. Do as what you say. Otherwise, shut your mouth.
John Shane in the house. I should cut a tree, or Kurt had to cut down a tree to get a good connection. I can see that if I was cellular, but I'm not because I'm in a basement, so that's not an option. Yeah. Although I can get the Raj hairs, but they put a cap on the high speed, and if a fella does a lot of video, I worked out the numbers, Terry, and I'd run out after like day 27 of a month, we'll say, of the high speed.
That's weird, unless you're talking about mobile. If you're talking about
it's yeah, and I forget what the cap was. It was like 45 gig, and I'm like, I can blow through 45 gig in a month, easy, because I watch YouTube all day. Basically, that's my background music all the whole time. So,
right on.
Anywho's, so new amp. It's a Pine Model 211. We'll get into it much deeper this coming Sunday. We got JP Page 2 coming on, our resident amp expert.
Take a closer look.
Oh, excuse me, that's all the root beer. It's 212, 7 watts of Canadian tube. I was going to say goodness, but no.
That'd be stretching.
That's stretching it. That's. Oh, okay, Mr. Anderson. Well, there we are. Well, now that makes sense. All right.
Oh, cool.
Well, where's my pen?
Yeah, I'd say so far, my brief experience with older amps like that, you're not going to get clean out of them very good, but you are going to get a really nice distorted sound when you do crank them up.
Well, you would like to think so, Terry. The exact opposite's in effect, actually. It's got a decent clean tone if you set everything just right. You know, just the right amount of reverb, just the right amount of tremolo to cover it up. You know, that way you don't hear the bad tone half the time. The tremolo's nice. But
I'm kind of thinking I want to hear it plugged into different speakers.
Yes, that is the thing, though, Terry. If you replace the speakers with pretty much anything else, then it's apparently a nice little machine. So, what's up, Mark Dillon? Checking in from the Rock.
I'm just reading Ferd Burfle's comment. Okay, for just to clarify, so we can get this out of the way, and more time filler for Ben. This was a sweatshirt thing that was given to me by my one mother's ex-boyfriend's son, and so I've kept it around because it's actually a really nice kind of material. It's nice and soft. It's nice and warm. Fits me relatively good. Buckeyes, as soon as I learned that it was an American thing, I was like, it still looks good. I don't care.
Guitar Man 45 is disagreeing. We're not talking Marshalls, Bo. We're talking Pines. World of difference.
Hey, Mark.
What's up, Jonathan McCullough? You really got to get Shine Time in. Have them reach out to me. So, I end up with most of the guests. Have them reach out to me. I'll check it out.
Emails in the description.
I'm not familiar with his name, really. I can check him out.
I just
Sponsored by Tyler. Cool.
I plan on it, Ferd. Thank you very much.
It is a pine. Yeah. So, yeah, I haven't told. Well, I did crank it up for a second, and it sounded kind of nasty. But the speakers are basically, Terry, if you were to buy a record player that probably had an 8-track built in and a radio, it's got 2 speakers, it's got a 12 and then maybe a 3 or 4 inch and maybe a 1, whatever. That's basically the quality speakers that are in it. They're like basically stereo speakers.
Yeah.
They're not.
And the kind of
the magnets are about the size of a thin hockey puck, is what I'm saying. There's not a lot of magnets back there.
Thanks, Richard.
Yes, but Richard, mine's cooler than all of them. I'm just saying. Our good friend Rob over at Tesi Switch. Use coupon code Canucks and save 15% site-wide. I will demo it for sure, Bo. There is going to be a video coming out, and like I said, Jim and I are going to talk about it on Sunday, and just the grill cloth. Like I'm just saying, the grill cloth alone.
Yeah, I know it's got some cool to it for sure.
Yeah, it's
they're not 6x9 speakers, Joe Hart.
You would think, Joe. You would think, though.
But there has been amps that have done that.
You could put 10s in it, Hip, but it's got 12s. I'm just saying. I could put.
Mark.
Don't worry, Mark. This one's later than.
I highly doubt it's that heavy, though.
Mark, it's a 212 combo that is so light. I thought it was solid state when I bought it, Terry.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay. Now, judging by the weight, because I've literally, my Marshall 212 cab weighs more, and there's no amp in it, right?
Yep.
Thought it was solid state based on the weight. Brought it home. Played it for over an hour. Still thought it was solid state because it sounded that bad.
Wow.
And then literally thought to myself, hey, I posted it on the socials. And I was like, on the social, I'm like, I haven't heard from Shanahan. And I look and he had comment on my post. He goes, hey, buddy, that's actually a tube amp. I'm like, nah. So we shone a flashlight up inside it. And I'll be like, well, I'll be dipped. It is a tube amp. So then we started pulling tubes to see what kind of tubes were in it. And it's got a bunch of vintage tubes in it. So, but more on that on Sunday.
Great. No spoilers.
Yes.
Blackjack Guitar, welcome.
What's up, Blackjack Guitar? See you. Gear Junkie 35. He says, love a new amp day. Right.
Always makes me wonder, are the Pine amps actually encased in pine?
I will tell you one thing, Terry. You may or may not notice from your distance and my lack of bandwidth, though. It has the vintage 2-prong plug.
Oh, no way.
Which I found it the hard way. You cannot touch your computer and play guitar at the same time.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, a fella reached over. The guitar was sitting in the lap. And I reached over to use the touchpad, and the under here made contact with the screen. And, whoo, felt that.
Wow.
Okay, see, Jim's already been looking into it. A lot of potential. See, this is what we're talking about. So,
nice.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I can almost feel it again already. It's been a minute since I've across the forearm. Oh, that's the lacky ground. Yeah. Did you try flipping the plug over? No, I just stopped touching the computer while holding a guitar that's electrified in my hand. Yeah, no, there's no outdoor rain concerts. There's no use of microphones while playing through that thing.
No sitting in the hot tub.
Nope. Won't even play it on a humid day.
John, try singing into a mic and playing it plugged in.
Yeah, no, I mentioned that the other night. I'm like, that's not an option, Trev. And Trev went, nope. He's like, what happened? I'm like, I got shocked. Patrick's right.
Get in lightning going from your lips to the microphone.
Don't even use it till you get. Oh, I've already played through it for hours, Scott.
Yeah, that was the only incident.
Yeah, you just don't touch other electronic devices while you're playing through it. That's all. And I was only plugging directly into it. I'm not even plugging my pedalboard into it.
I mean, other than that, as long as you stay isolated, you should. It's just a good vibration coming in.
We'll know if Ben starts hearing computers.
That involved me being able to hear. Yeah. Yeah, see, now if I still knew an electrical buddy local, I'd have him come over and convert a bunch of my amps over to 3-prong plugs and such, but I can't be bothered. I mean, besides, pick it up as much as anything, just put it on the set because it'll look cool on set. What's up, Superfan Gary Davlin in the house?
Right.
Hey, Gary.
Even at worst, it's a nice little end table. Put a little piece of plywood on top of there.
Yeah, there you go. Send it to Scott. He'll mod it into like some Super Marshall-esque kind of configuration.
Yeah. And the transformers
with 8 watts.
So tiny. The transformers are so small in it. Like, it's ridiculously small, which is why it's so light. Herb has a question. Ben, yes. Would you know how old the Cornell Plexi 7 amp is? No.
I've got it Googled because I saw that question.
Okay.
I haven't seen a date yet, so I'm going to have to further my Google parameters.
White Bale. It is pretty easy to put a proper plug on it. That's true, LRM. Especially if it's like just screw down connection, which I would not doubt with this thing if that's what it is. To stick it through a grommet.
It's not cheap, that's for sure.
Patrick, the amp's probably older than me.
Still not getting that hit, so where are we going to go?
Okay, give up with new amp for a while. It's called Roll Call. What's up, Paul Leonard Ewing? It's the Pine Electronics Model 211.
3-prong 2-wire.
Yeah, dual
As
ground.
for the amp that was asked about, the only thing a quick Google turned up is that it's older than 2018.
I know I've heard of Cornell, but that's it. Like, that's some boutique stuff, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I get the impression of too.
Yeah.
Clearly, a lot of people in the chat don't take a chance with a vintage amp with a 2-prong plug. I see, Terry. I always think about that, Mark. Next week, maybe next week. The weather's nice. The ground's too soggy still. I was made in Montreal, LRM. That's where they were made.
Yeah, as that discussion went, a lot of amps came out of there. Under varying.
Pretty much all the amps either came out of Montreal or Winnipeg.
Yeah.
That was it. Montreal and Winnipeg. What's up, James Hawking?
Can't find
Billy Baloney says, I had a Tweed Tremolux with a 2-prong plug. It sounded so good it was worth the risk. Scott says that amp has 850 volts in it. Sure. I don't know. Whatever. It's an amp. They're all that way back in the day.
Good question by Joe.
Was this amp a trade? Any backstory? No. There will be a video regarding the acquisition of it coming out this week or next for channel members. Part of a new series, I'll say. For patrons and members, there's a new series started. I don't know if there'll be videos every week, but pretty much every week there'll be a video as part of that series.
No, that's pretty cool what Guitar Man 45 just mentioned. He had an old Epiphone Zephyr 15 combo from 65.
Nice.
Now, I can't remember if that's the one that actually had a included guitar with it or not, because I know there was one in the 60s that it was both a guitar and amp combo that actually had two two independent outputs for the neck pickup and bridge pickup.
Doug Strong in the house. It's a Pine 211. There we go. That's the short answer. More on it on Sunday.
Yeah, car stereo or guitar amp.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's true too. There was a Pine car stereo system for some time.
No, I had an Alpine. That was different.
Yeah.
Keith H. asked, Ben, what would be a good pedal to get some dirt out of a clean Vox? That's a good question.
I was going to say almost anything.
No.
Or is there a specific style?
Well, because a Vox can get very shrill, because it's got a lot of top end in there. So,
I wouldn't say Tube Screamer, but then again, those Tube Screamer probably is mid. So
no, yeah, exactly. No, I would say you want something in the family of a Timmy.
Timmy.
I would say something in that vein, or
Billy. That's what I was talking about.
Something Dumble-esque. Plimsoll. The Plimsoll is one of the few I haven't tried, Michael Krause. I'm not quite sure on that. So, but I would look for something in the ironically enough, the pedal that'll be released through Lawrence's email list this week is the pedal, except it's a double version, basically, because that's what I use.
Joe Hervey, Boss Metalcore.
No, not a Boss Metalcore.
Definitely not a super fuzz, because that's a trebly fuzz to begin with. So that would be just like...
Yeah, except this one's a 212 combo, Doug. 7 watts, I thought I said. 212 combo version. Scott Brockway was looking at the wrong amp. Fine.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if there was 5-watt heads.
Let's see what else we got going on. Well, you're not going to find a good schematic because it's not a good design, Scott. I played it. I heard it. That's what I'm saying. You can get that really good early guitar lesson tone, is what I'm saying, Trev.
I know. I've heard it. And I've done the search, the Google search, and looked up the documents and the different ads.
Boomer! Yes.
Figure it all out.
Pine, 212 combo, so it's a model 211.
Right on.
I'd call it a 212 instead of 211, but hey, what do I know?
Yep, spelled Pine, Pine.
Yep. Is it loud? And because it's French, do I want to hear it? Not really. Times 2. That's kind of the answer to both. Not really.
2 questions, 1 answer.
Yeah. You have the Widowmaker, right? I was wondering which model you had. I couldn't remember, but yeah, when I snagged on it, I thought of you, Boomer. It's like, oh. Yeah. All I will say is I was at a mom and pop shop, and the nice thing about mom and pop shops is you're guaranteed to find a couple items in there, Trev.
All right.
A small trainer practice amp, or a beat to fuck trainer bass setup, which is usually a head and like a single 15 or something. Right. It's always like a single 15, just beat the hell cab. You're going to find a Marshall 1960A cabinet, which is your slant 412. And chances are like a Pine or something Pine adjacent.
Right.
If you're lucky, in the back with a bunch of dust on it, because nobody's bought one in 45 years. Blackjack says, you got a 2-prong plug. It's a Widowmaker too. So, yes, it was a pop shop because there was no Ma. Even though it's named after a Ma, kind of. Hey, damn taco lover. What pickup was in Ed's 5150? No idea.
If Kurt's still here, he'll know the answer to that.
Kurt would know that.
do you want
Yeah, I don't know. It
paging
probably
Kurt
had a
to the
few
white
of 'em.
courtesy pedal part?
I would not doubt Trev knowing that guy as
Yeah.
well as I do, which is
BC Rich says what I was
I
thinking.
wouldn't doubt if he had swapped a pickup or two into that thing over the years as well.
The Frankenstrat was a PAF from a 335.
But that's not the 5150.
No, exactly.
There you go. Seymour Duncan JB and brother Tom
That's-
out of nowhere because he knows that stuff too. Duncan JB. Oh, well, there we are.
Yeah.
Ben, is that amp the 211 SE? I don't recall seeing an SE. Nope, just says model 211, made in Canada.
Special edition SE.
Yeah, I think you're right, Tom.
115 volts, 60 cycle, 0.5 amps. It's got reverb and tremolo. Funny thing is, Terry, when I got it home, realized it was missing a knob. I was like, oh. Now I got to source out a knob for a 50-plus-year-old Canadian amp. Not a problem. I have 2 pine heads back here with the same knobs.
Yeah, that would work.
Which, ironically, though, Terry, neither one was branded. The faceplates, one says Rogue. No, one did say Rogue, and the faceplate came off because it was just glued on. The other one still screen on and says it's a Riviera. Both are Pine amps, identical amps that had 2 different names on them, neither of which was the actual manufacturer. So it's like probably one was available through Simpsons, Trev, and the other one through Eaton's.
No problem, Tom.
What's up, Stephen Holt? Good to see you, man. Of course I do, John. Boomer's got tremolo in his, too. Nice.
The crazy part, too, I was just going to say, is there's a lot of instances where you can't source knobs, but there are actually people out there that are custom knob builders. that
Randy
actually
Upchurch in the house.
That can actually
Yeah,
build the knobs.
I guess with 3D printing now, like,
Yeah.
Well, they're
And
more like they
everything
look a
too.
lot like a Fender knob of the approximate time period too. So I don't know. Actually, your best bet is probably go to like a old. I would say like a Goodwill, but no, more like the Church Bazaar ones. I would still have some really old appliances because you might look at an old stove and find the knobs you need. Because that's the kind of crap that was on those.
Imagine that if it was old.
Okay, yeah.
stuff
See,
now.
Boomer says Paul on his. Yeah, because they built them for like every department store chain and stuff.
Yeah.
Not a problem, damn taco lover. Do what we can. Ah, that's better. A little more conversation lubrication. Yeah, so I'm curious to pick Jim's brain on that thing. Questions? Any more questions? We got 57 people watching. Hopefully you're hitting the thumbs up. That's it.
38 people have thumbs up.
There we go.
Fireside Studio. Someone should start a Goodwill guitar store. Can you imagine
Yes.
how chaotic that would be?
Apparently we're going deep dive on the Pine here. Yes. Pine or Pepco, same thing. Because Pepco is probably like Pine Electronics production company or something like that.
Yeah.
But like Patrick Trade says, there's a few Pine or Pepco amps on Kijiji all across the Great White North, ranging from $200 to $350. Yep.
I'm surprised somebody doesn't confuse Pepco with Pepsi Company. The heck? Pepsi made amps?
They're a big enough company; they could have a branch into that, right? Like,
Yeah, it's true.
let's be honest. There was a time Harley Davidson was owned by a bowling company.
You need some Pepto. Petco.
Any other gear questions? That's the question that comes to my mind. Gear questions. Coca-Cola rules. I agree, Kurt.
Yep. The only other cola I'll drink.
Great for harps, Boomer. Yep. I like just hitting them and just right, and they got kind of that rip speaker that may not sound too pleasing in the room, but recorded, it does a thing. When it's like, that's why I have that little version, the little solid state one I got, Terry, with like the 4-inch speaker in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that thing, it translates through way different than it sounds in the room. Like I remember going live on here one time from when I was still working in the vape shop, and I was hitting that little thing, which is 4 watts with a Boss Mega Distortion. And it was, oh, I love that tone. I'm like, not in this room, you wouldn't. But it sounded okay with all the compression and the filtering. Sup, Laz?
Cheers, lads.
Google Translate pine from French to English.
Paint namer in the house? Oh, what do I see here?
Got me curious.
Boomer
now.
says, did anyone see the chip of pedal switchers on Vertex today? No, I did not. Keith Campbell in the house. Oh, excuse me. Everyone saying hi to each other. So, Trev, get a Telecaster yet?
Have not.
Okay. Just checking.
Been looking though.
Although, I will say the pickings
You
are
were
slim
looking
in your area for affordable tellies or telly-shaped objects. Because I know you and I have browsed the used section. I don't know. You might have to look on the Kijij at this point.
It's non-existent out here, really.
Oh, yeah? That sucks.
I looked for it once, and it's not much there. I guess everybody here is Craigslist or Stupid Marketplace, and it's usually the same folks in both.
Herb says, put a set of greenbacks in the pine. Make it sound. I bet it'll make sound better. Well, yeah, that's because that's the weak link as much as it's the speakers. Like once you put some decent speakers, apparently they do come to life. We shall see. I'd assume I'd want some low wattage speakers. That's for sure. So Charles just like, why not explain yourself? Charles is fully on board with the Trev getting a Telly in 2023 bus. I've noticed.
Yes, he is. Little distracted by another object.
True.
Best way to
let's see here. Okay, Joe Hervey asks, the best way to sand the bottom of a Graphtec nut? Sandpaper. Second best.
Not a toenail file or finger file.
Yeah, I find,
Come on,
Joe,
you
you want something... I like to put down a piece of sandpaper, a block that I know is 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And then I can put, one side of the nut, and that way... not pressing too much one way or the other, and flip it around, because you might put a little more pressure with your thumb than your finger, Terry. So you're slowly working down that side. So you flip it around every once in a while. So there we go. Robert Ranford in the house.
Here, Robert.
Yeah, that's what I do. Stephen Holt just ordered a J Rocket Gold Icon. Nice. Any thoughts? I gotta refresh my
J Rocket Gold Icon.
I like J Rocket products. They do the Archer. What was it? Is it the Archer icon or the gold? What do you call it? The gold icon?
Yeah.
Must be the Archer Gold. Oh yeah. They're sweet. They're sweet. They're one of the best representations of the K style pedal, if we call it that. Yeah, good score. Assuming you didn't pay $1 million for it. Wow, there's a lot of hashtags going on in here. Trev. As much as the folks want to see me get an Explorer, they really want to see you get a Telly.
We'll see. I'm looking.
But the question is what kind of Telly should Trevor get? Should Trevor get a traditional? Should
Yes.
Trevor get something
We
like
take
Yeah, no. 2 single coil pickups. He has his choice of maple or
Straight up standard issue.
fretboard. I don't care about that. You'll probably get a rosewood-looking fretboard because it won't be rosewood, but it'll probably be Palfaro. 2 single coils for now. Then he can get one with a wiggle stick and EMGs, and he can have all that on his other next telly. But he's got to have a standard. No, not a Scotty and telly with one humbucker, Scott. It's the exact opposite. He's already got a bunch of humbucker guitars. The whole point is to get a single coil guitar into his life. In case you ever, I don't know, want to cut through a mix. I'm just
like I was saying, if budget is a limitation, the Squire Classic Vibe 50s.
Well, that's what we're looking at. It's not
kind of a big
be
neck, though. I'd go with the 60s.
Yeah, the 60s one's pretty nice, too.
Same thing with thinner neck.
Yeah.
Basically.
And binding.
I can't do with or without. Scott Brockway says 1 meg pellet lets you cut through the mix. Unless you're playing through a bass amp, then it's all relative.
Robert.
Did Pine make a telly? Good one, Keith.
Richard says lately the Squires have picked up or up there with the MIM Fenders. Yep. Yes, if you're talking like the newer classic vibe lines, they're definitely right up there with the MIMs.
Guitar Man 45 is on the fence between a Gretsch 6119 or a Gretsch 6120. It's only one difference.
That's one difference.
That's what I was just going to say. What's the difference other than 1 decimal point or 1 decimal?
It's probably like one has the hardtail, one's a trem. No, not a humbucker telly. Unbelievable.
You won't let me.
Single coil. Trev shows up with a humbucker telly. That's like
got to try it to have the baseline for
her lesson for a month. I'm like, you can listen to me, Noodle, but you can't watch what I'm doing.
And it's one of those that I know, even if I don't take to it or like it, even after I try it, my kid's gonna.
Oh, she'll love it.
Start putting hours in.
Yeah,
because her Strat's getting tired with the frets, so she'll move on to the telly. She'll love it.
Sure.
It'll be covered in all kinds of stickers, all the stickers, decals.
Well,
there's nothing. I've been known to do that. So,
so
Unbelievable says the Harley Benton, but Trevor hasn't bonded with the Harley Benton products any time he's experienced one thus far. Speaking on behalf of Trevor,
I went and tried one, and it just didn't. It felt plasticky and like a toy to me. It didn't have a woody vibe to it.
I believe the one Harley Benton I played was a Harley Benton telly-shaped object. Played like a Squire, in my opinion. James Hawkins says, love my 72 custom, don't deny before you try. But not as a first telly, James. So that's a great second telly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Especially because Trev's coming from that Explorer-shaped object region of the world. And so...
active pickups.
We're having some... Yeah, we want to have, basically what's the exact opposite of an active pickup Explorer? Well, that'd be a single coil telly with passives. He's going to bitch at me, but he's like, there's so much buzzing going on in here. I'm like, yes, use your noise gate. It's not going to help, really, but...
Stephen
people
Holt
want you getting into Warmoth tellies, and the Dave Chase just throws out, just get a Glary.
Mm-hmm. That sounds really good, Kurt, by the way. I did a chicken and asparagus last night.
Doug Strong had a 2015 standard natural Blackguard. Nice.
So I mean, the new Squires here were, I think they're like around $600, $700.
Yeah, all
for
the
a new one. Kicking around something half that price.
We're trying to find Trev a nice $300 max. Can we find a used Affinity for him for a couple $100 or $175 or like a used classic vibe for 300 or something. That's what we're looking for.
Heck, the new Affinities are about $3.
I know. Forget that. Forget that.
It's still a little scary, but also at the same time, they're way better built than some of the others.
I will never say an Affinity is way better built. The only thing they're way better built on is the Bullet series. That's the only ones they're way better built on.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah, the Bullet series.
That's why they're the cheapest.
Yeah.
It's about the tone curve. I like the active pickups, especially those EMGs with the afterburner switch.
Michael Krause asks, do you feel the same way about Strats? First one should be 3 singles. If you're going for a Strat. Now, if you're just going for a first guitar and it happens to be a Super Strat, so be it. Because no road, but it'd be like, okay, but if Michael Krause, if you're like, I've been playing, let's say, Les Pauls forever and a day, and PRSs, whatever. Think about getting into Strats. All right, well, your first one better be 3 single coils. If you're going to get into Strats as your base mark, it should be an actual Strat. As Stratty as Strat possible. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like, I don't know, Terry, you're like, oh, I'm going to get into SGs. All right, well, yeah, you can go P90 or humbucker, but chances are you're going to lean towards humbucker for your first one. I'm just saying, because Trev and I were talking last night, like we were looking at a red SG, and it's like, geez, how many of us got into SGs or wanting one just because of Angus Young? So for me, it would be a Blackguard, probably red, even though he played as many walnuts as red ones, but I'm not a big fan of the walnut finish. I don't want a brown fucking SG in my life. I want cherry red, Blackguard. I don't care if it's a big guard, little guard, don't care. Do not care. If the big guard adds enough counterweight to help with the headstock dive, then big guard, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, also the majority of SGs out there are humbucker based anyways.
Right. So it's much easier to get into as well, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. The availability side of things. And like say, I'm thinking about getting into this. All right, well, don't go spending $2,000 if you can spend $300 just to get the idea, the understanding. Pick up an Epiphone SG. If you want to get into SGs for the first time, pick up an Epiphone SG. There's hundreds of them out there, thousands.
I've said that numerously too. That
new or used, whatever.
Try a used or even a lower tier model to see if you like that actual body style.
Yeah, exactly. The ergonomics and stuff, because it'll at least give you an idea of what it is, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be right there. Now, if you're like, the ergonomics, I love this. All right, well, then eventually you might want a Murphy Lab SG, as that's the unicorn at the end of the rainbow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tom says I'd go for the 61 Les Paul, basically, with cream with the triple pickup, probably. I had one, the Epiphone version of. Headstock dive.
That'd be cool, just for the fact that you can troll so many people when you call it a Les Paul, and they're like, it's an SG, it's an SG, it's an SG.
Oh, yeah. Nice SG. I'm like, no, it's an SG. I'm like, yeah, it's a Les Paul.
Now that's
and if you look
one
right below because they didn't say it on the truss rod cover, Trev, it was a plate that went between the neck pickup and the neck, and that right there would say Les Paul Custom.
That's one I'm waiting for Aljon to actually get Epiphone to redo. Is that one with the
I picked up mine stock in around 10 years ago, I'd say. I picked mine up. Yeah. Played okay sitting down. Standing up, oofda. I took it to one band practice with One Day to Live. Did not match the motif of, that kind of stood out. I'm playing a lot of black Les Pauls, Trav, and all of a sudden you show up with the cream, with the gold hardware that's beautiful because it was a new guitar, and it had been a case queen, basically, the whole time I had it.
Yeah, there's a Harley Benton one that originally back in the day came out for about 180 Canadian. That guitar is now about $100 more. It's close to 300 now they want for one, which is surprising. And also they've changed it slightly because of Gibson copyright issues, of course.
Think about getting into Wolfgangs, Trev. Don't get a hardtail like me. Although, that was fine. One, I lucked into that, and two, I have no desire to have, because I already had a Kramer with a wiggle stick, so I kind of like the idea. But, someone said to me, I'm looking to get into Wolfgang. All right, well, don't go for the rare hardtail. Go for the full-on. No, however, if someone says, I'm thinking about getting into Flying V's, now we got to sit down and have a conversation, guys. Because looking at the two of you, if you both came to, you're like, we're thinking about getting into Flying V's. I'm thinking, without stereotyping, I'm assuming Terry's going to go more for a Gibson V style, a more traditional V, whereas Trev would want Jackson V with a fucking wiggle stick and all that chicanery.
I think Kerry King or...
yeah, you want the Kerry King or the Randy Rhodes, that's the unicorn. The 7 inlay, with the headstock bound and everything, and boom. And Terry's like, I want this, like a 58 Carina reissue with the fucking sweetest pickups you've ever heard, and it's just a blues machine and blah, blah, blah. But I get it. See, we have to have those conversations. Because if you want a blues machine V, because you want to get your Freddie King on, and I show up with a Rhodes V, and go, here you go. And you're like, this is way too much guitar for what I need. Yeah. Whereas if you show up with a Gibson V to the guy who expecting the full hot rodded V, and you're like, wow, you're really tying one hand behind my back here in my playing. Yeah. Chicanery with the wiggle sticks. Yeah. You need a V, Bo. You've got Explorers. You need a V to go with your Explorer. Just saying.
You think the Carina twins, right?
Even like I said, when I had my V, I traded it for a Gibson SG, so it was a Gibson Flying V for a Gibson SG. So, and I found out that I like both.
Yeah, Laz has the Richie Faulkner V.
I love that guitar. That is an awesome guitar.
Hit Metalwork says my drummer has a 7-string Gibson V. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah,
Patrick Traits has an Ibanez with a wizard neck, set neck. Ooh, no wiggle stick required. Ooh, I bet you that thing is just a lean, mean fucking. Jeez, Trev, can you imagine? That thing would just shred. That's my plan, Josh. You can't see because of an amp block. There's an empty spot on the guitar rack. When I got rid of my Gretsch, there's guitars in cases right now that could be sitting in that spot, but nope. That sits empty as a reminder. This is the spot where the Explorer goes. Now, they may get rearranged after the fact, but until that spot is filled. Now, I don't want to settle on a black Explorer with zebra pickups in a white pickguard. That is the least appeasing, Trev. It checks none of the only box it checks is the fact it is in fact an Explorer. That's the only box it's checking. I don't want, because it's going to have chipped corn. It's going to be rough. That's the last one, because I don't like the zebra pickup. Ideally, we want a nice looking Carina natural, less orange, more natural looking, black guard, gold hardware or chrome. I don't care. Kind of like gold would look nice with the black. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? I want gold hardware.
There you go.
That's my unicorn. Not super fancy. Or even though I'm not the hugest Metallica fan, I do like a white Explorer. I'll let James Hetfield. There's lots of room for advertising, Trev. You may have noticed that through the Ride of the Lightning tour. In the Master Puppets tour, there's a lot of room to advertise on a white Explorer, saying catchphrases and stuff.
Yep. I seen one with a 5150 on it. Just saying. It had a little gold skull and crossbones on the headstock over there.
Josh says, what about the one I emailed you? The other thing is I want to buy it in person. That wasn't local to me.
Marco Kraus. Yeah, that Lizzie Hale White Explorer with the gold hardware. Oh, that is such a sharp-looking guitar.
It is, and it's got the V headstock too, doesn't it? Not the one that has the V headstock? The Explorer.
No. She did her own one, but it's got the Firebird headstock.
Oh, the Firebird headstock. That's what it was. I knew it was something different.
Firebird. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that looked sharp. That combination.
Keith Campbell said you've got a white guard. Either way, yeah. Well, then that's the nice thing is I can swap the pickguard out easy enough. You know, and I'd let the guitar decide, Terry. You know, because certain shades, the way it ages, might look better with a white than the black. I don't know.
Yeah. We've had that discussion numerous times in the past about certain color combinations, how they look good together, and how they age well together as well.
Yeah, like I detest a mint green guard on a Strat. 99% of the time.
Green I don't like on Strat at all.
Yeah, but I will say there's a couple colors where it works because it takes away from the greenness and it works with the other, you know, for whatever reason the color combo works. Is what I'm saying.
Now, a mint green pickguard with like a seafoam green, that's different.
Right. Tom, you're going dark in the chat. You don't need to go dark in the chat.
Yeah.
Keep things happy and positive. I like Scott Brockway's idea. I do like a red Explorer too. If I was going to get a colored one other than white, it would be red. I just don't want black.
It's kind of the same thing with Jazz Masters. Jazz Masters are always... People want specific colors more than other colors.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things
generally with color matching headstock too. If they
yes.
And with color, and that's always the addendum. It's like a PS. They're the only guitars, the offsets, Trev. They're the only ones where you know, well, what color? Well, I want this. And there's that pause. With color matching headstock. Like, okay, well, I get that. Because they didn't all have them, but you do.
Yeah. Harley Benton right now has a special run on a Squire Jaguar that comes in two different colors, but the one color, well, both of them are matching colored headstock, but the one color that I really think is sharp is they have a sparkle silver limited to 500.
Ooh.
So sparkle silver body, the tortoise pickguard, and then the sparkle silver headstock to match. Yeah. And
Stephen Holt wants a first Jazz Master. Classy. And Absolute Mayhem in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I was down in Mayhem's neck of the woods on Thursday briefly. I would have reached out to you, but I didn't have time. It was I called an audible based on what I was able to do. There'll be a video out this week on it. That's what I'm saying. Because you're a channel member, you'll see
it. Tom.
I know. That's true, Tom. Well, yeah, although Tom, in fairness, Fender did some sparkle headstocks with some of the candy apple red stuff, and Gretsch
kind of been doing it for a while.
Gretsch has been doing it for a bit.
Actually, I did see somebody post, I think, on Instagram recently. Somebody's actually offering a course on how to do certain sparkle finishes for guitar finishes. I was like, wow, that's actually an awesome idea.
Hello, Mason Douglas.
Yeah, I think that's who it is.
Mason says, hello, I'm making my own pickguard for my Strat. All right. First thing I'll say is good fucking luck. Just because that's just personal experience talking. Okay, outer 2 maple, inner 2 ebony. Oh, I like that. Using hand tools. How would you cut the pickup selector switch slot? Ooh, good question. Now, Trev, I'm going to you get the follow-up, okay? I'm going to try to answer first, and then you're going to... Okay? Now, ideally, pin router.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Like if you don't have a CNC type setup.
Routing bit.
With a jig, so you can just... Ding, right? With a jig, yes. That's not going to give it all because you want it perfect. Yeah. Pin router though, Trev. Did I get that? I don't know.
Pin routers are pretty rare. I mean, I only know one fellow with one in the chat, Paul McNary. But I would just use my standard issue router table that I've got there.
Right.
Right. I mean, I've got a slot in that fence so I can put start and stop blocks.
Yep.
To measure stuff and distance from the bit, and then just run a 1/8 inch router bit.
Yeah, I can see that as well too.
Because the other option is, like, if you have a drill press, to just drill a series of holes, but then you got to smooth it all out, and that's a hassle.
Yeah.
Because that never turns out perfect. It'll be too big. By the time you get everything perfect, you're going to remove a little too much material. I did, Charles. I just told him to get jiggy with it. Yes. Charles has been getting into the Virgils tonight. Hard one. I'm just saying.
It says a sharp chisel. I do have a inch
That's what
and a
Hip
quarter.
says, yeah. I'd be afraid to split the wood myself with a chisel.
Yeah, especially like when you're talking about wood, you really would have to.
Yeah, because you don't need it. It's not a very wide.
You don't strike it to take it all out at once. You score your lines.
Yes.
Where you want with a hobby knife or whatever you got, and then you start to take little pieces out, flipping around from the other side, take little pieces out, right?
A rotozip
come up
with
against
stop
that
blocks.
line.
NSL says rotozip. Would that be like? Well, you can get some of the jigs for like a Dremel. You can do right. Excuse me. What's up, Keith? Bo says he can handle it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Cox in the house. All right, Tom. Easy.
LRM Guitars with the right
Thank you.
response.
Just
buy a damn Pickguard.
Michael Cross, oscillating multi-tool, one plug cut, and don't screw it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm
on
gonna get
the
you one
other
of those.
side
Those
of
things are
things,
awesome.
Hey, Trev, I got the Dremel with like a nice, how long slot? All right, well, I got a cutting just that size. And we're done.
meanwhile,
Easy.
you've cut a slot long
Easy.
enough for 2 5-way switches.
Let's see here. All right, Richard asks, any pedal boards tonight? We do have one. We have one pedal board submission. Of course, it came in sideways. I blame it on his age, Trev. Just saying. And also, this coming Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, first Saturday of the month, as always, Water Buffalo meeting for the patrons and channel members. Oh, Keith H with a super duper sticker.
Really awesome.
Doug, you could either send it through Messenger or the email address down below, because I think Doug keeps reminding me that we're friends on Facebook, so he said it there. Let's see here. Oh, there you go. All right. So Water Buffalo meeting this Saturday. All right, Ferd Burfel here decided he had to put it sideways. So he's got all right, what's that? A tuner? SR. Yeah, sure. I think that's a tuner. Makes sense. Yeah, it's got a wireless thing stuck into it, so yep. Into a little Mosky clone thing. Yep. I approve. Silver version, I got the gold. I don't know. Joyo Splinter Distortion, which is like a rat typed object. Into a chorus from Pigtone. Oh yeah. All right, Easy Doug Strong. I'm looking at birds. You got the preview. It's cutting off the pedal I was looking at. Then We're up to the Slapback Echo from Electro Harmonics, which I believe he just that's the recent acquisition. We got the Octave Reverb, part of the JHS 3 series. We got the Delay from the JHS 3 series, and a Friedman with 2 E's from DM Effects, which looks like his BOD, but a knockoff version thereof. So, oh, you didn't. All right. Now, if I hold it, no, maybe. Kind of. Oh, come on.
It turned.
Come on. Up there. And easy. Easy on an angle. Easy. There it is.
Actually, it's showing up better when you got it on that angle.
All right. Moving on. Decent board for a decent board. Of course, you're the Grand Poobah. I expect nothing less. All right. Where's Doug's? Wait, I know I saw the message. I gotta wait for you to
It
update.
really works. Obviously not a Scottish phone.
All right. Anytime. Anytime. You said you sent it.
It's an Apple. It's an Apple phone.
Is it under
could be
message
Scottish.
request?
A Macintosh.
Bam. Nope. All right. Back to chats. Disappeared. Oh, something and then it just went away. Chats.
Sunflowers.
Oh, hard close. Reopen. See what happens. No. Nope. There it is. Jeez. All right. Back row is in the loop. All right. Blue Sky Ecosystem and DC, which is, all right. All right. So we've got a Victory amp. We got a tuner. We got the if 6 was 9. We've got the JHS. Is that the Morning Glory you said?
Thanks, Josh.
Rev Tilt. And then in the loop, we got the Dimension C, the Empress Echo System, and Strymon Blue Sky. A very clean board. Temple Audio board, I believe it is. A very clean setup. Very good tones. Boutique-y, if you will. Excuse me. There we are. Zoom in on just the board. And it doesn't want to focus because it's being a dick. Easy.
Focus,
all the way in.
Focus.
All the way in. Just to be a dick. Yeah, it worked.
There we go.
Cool. There we go. Jim Cox, you get email address down below. Canucksguitars@gmail.com. We'll do one more. Dale Palmer. Are we wrapping up, Dale? Are you giving me the hook?
Exactly. Is it the end?
He's like, you're going long. We have to go to commercial. Sorry, Dale. Yeah, he may have plans for this evening, so he just wanted to get in his howdies. That's okay.
Maybe.
Kurt, I don't want to see Laz's pedal floor again. I don't.
Yeah, literally pedal floor. Probably.
Yes. If we have any other questions, send them. We got 70 people in here. So, yeah, if we got one in, if someone sends one in, just say, hey, I sent it to you, and then I'll check my phone again. But, no, you can't, Scott. Behave. Good. Kurt called hoarders on Laz. That's probably a good idea. So, yeah, reminder, we got a Water Buffalo meeting this Saturday. JP Page 2 will be joining me this Sunday. I need to blow my nose is what I need to do. We're going to be talking about the new amp, which is the Pine 211.
What about next Monday? Are we returning, or is there another special guest?
Nope. As far as I know, you do not get the night off. I don't have any special guests booked as of now. That's not to say what happens next month. Speaking of which, yeah, looking into April, we got JP Page 2. The week after that is Easter. So we're going to do a community hang for the first time this year because we haven't done one since New Year's because the fellow's been busy. The guests all want to show up. So I called an audible.
Yeah.
All right. Charles
So-
75N has a question I'll get to momentarily. The week after the community hang is NAMM weekend, so we'll have Aaron from Elvis Band reporting in from Anaheim, California.
Nice.
My guess is he'll be sick. So,
Spreading the next wave.
and then after that, I can't remember. No, unbelievable. Just no. All right, so here's how it works. Generally, tuner first, just because it's most common. That's why I'm just saying it, Trev. I'm just saying most common. It doesn't matter where you put the tuner. Dealer's choice. You put the tuner wherever you want. I like tuner first. Okay. Then gain stages / dirt, we'll call it. Some people like their modulation in front of their dirt. Wait. If you have a wah, get your wah as close to the guitar as possible. All right. Next thing close as possible, fuzz. Fuzz likes to see the guitar as close as possible. If you're like me, you don't use either of those flavors, disregard the first steps. Out the window. Just tuner. Now, if you're someone like John Duchesne, who can't handle his modulation, he's like, ooh, I got to stay in the shallow end of the wetness of the modulation. You put your modulation first in front of your dirt. Now, if you're like me, you like your bell-bottom jeans, you know, you want all the modulation. Well, you put it post-gain. All right. Now, I do like phasers in front and behind because sometimes I like to tame on a phaser. So I run a phase 45 in front of my dirt just because it does a little thing. And it adds a little gain because that's the way those phase 45s are. There is a little gain to them. So, but generally, right after your gain, which is your boosts, your overdrives, your distortions. All right, John. Chorus. Go for your choruses. Chorusi. I think it's a plural of choruses. Unless you're running a stereo chorus, because that's your point of split. Okay? So, but your phasers, your flangers, your choruses. All right. Joe brings up an excellent point. EQ. Near the front. Because generally, unless you're keeping that level, and it has a level, you're keeping that exactly unity, you're using it as a bit of a boost. So you might want to put it out front. That's what I'm saying. Or you may want it near the end. Final coloring. That's an option as well. So, if you're going to split off stereo chorus, put stereo chorus after your other mount because it's your last mono pedal. You know, mono is in front, you know, which is going to be like a phase 90 or small stuff, or flanger of some kind. Now, once we've done your modulation, we're going to get into your time-based. That's your delays and your reverbs.
Mm-hmm.
Delay, then reverb. Let me repeat that. Delay, then reverb. That's one of the easiest ones to figure out. You know how you know that, Trev?
Mm-hmm.
What's last? Because your amp is last. What comes inside of an amplifier? Reverb. They don't come with delays. You know, so it's last. Reverb last. Because all it does is go. That's all it's doing.
Yeah.
Last. Ambience. It's last. Now, LRM says I forgot compressor. No, I didn't, because I don't use it. I didn't forget. So, compressor. Again, depending. If you play with dynamics, okay, i.e., Trev, when you want to dig in, you want to hear a little more distortion because you're that edge of breakup type of guy. Yeah, you know, if I lightly pick, it's pretty clean, but when I dig in, I really dig in. Put your compressor post-gain, pre-modulation. You're going to slide it right in between because you need that dynamic when hitting your gain stages. Now, if you want to just, you know, we're axing the dynamics, and I just want that compressed, squishy, chicken picking, right up front. Just put it right up front. Just compress your signal right from the start. Now, unbelievable, brings up noise gate and boost. All right. Your boost, if you mean as in a lead boost, okay, Trev, you're going to want that as late in your chain as possible. Because all you want to do is make everything louder. So, last. Because you make everything louder. Again, that has to work. That's it. Assuming you're running into a clean amp pedal platform. You know, we're not talking into, we're not getting into 4 cable. We're just putting, pedal platform, pedal board into it. Showed up, backline provided. Now, what was the other thing you mentioned? Noise gate. Well, if you can control your tone, you don't need a noise gate. But noise gate, I put, again, that's one of those right up front things. Because it's a good guitar that's causing the signal, just put it right up front. I found it worked best for me up front as opposed to last. Put it that way. Plus, Trev, I find a lot of noise gates do compress your signal ever so slightly. Therefore, like a compressor, throw it up front. If you happen to have a looper at the end, yes, because you want to capture everything that you want to capture.
As an input or even in the effects loop. Looper should be last, yeah.
Well, we're not getting into effects loops, Terry. I just mentioned that. We're not doing any 4 cable. There's no loops. No loop-to-loops. Straight. No loop-to-loops. So, yes. I think that answered Charles' question. I'm going to do one more pedal board. Keith Campbell sent in something. So, he'll be the last. And then the rest will come in next week, guys. Which I appreciate, because now we got stuff for next week. The waiting is the hardest part. Oh, there we are. All right, so Keith has a much more minimalistic board than I thought he would. I'm shocked because, to be honest, every time I figure an EVH fan sends in a photo of their pedal board, I assume it's going to look like Eddie's pedal board. Or, if John just, I'm like, isn't that Pete Thorne's pedal board? So we've got a 5153 mini head. I like in white with a. Is that a 112 cab or is that a 412 cab? It looks small for a 412, but it might be a 412. Let's see. No, it's. I don't know. What size cab is that, Keith? And then on the pedal board we have an EVH. It's the white one. Is that the overdrive? I think. And then we've got the EVH phaser, Terry, which is basically a script phase 90 with a fancy paint job. Sure. And then the EVH chorus, which I do dig. I do dig that. And then what's that? Keith H actually owns a Wadscraft tuner. I knew they existed. I didn't know anyone owned one.
There you go.
Is the flanger the white one? That makes sense. I don't know. Oh, it does say flanger. Thank you. Flanger, phaser, chorus. Okay. And I assume they all go into the front of the amp. Because that's how Eddie did it. Personally, I would hope there's an effects loop on it, Trev, so I could put them all in post-game and take full advantage of them. But also, let's be honest, if you're going for that EVH tone, you're going to want to put them in the front. Ryan knows what I'm talking about there. Oh, you wait 1, 2. For those who don't know, Ryan, aka OU812, in the chat, you can tell based on the spelling of the username who he is. likes to go live on occasion on his channel. Trev likes to loiter over there on occasion. That's how I was made aware of these situations.
I've seen him there.
And so everyone, if you haven't already, check out OU812's channel. We got 73 people in here. Ryan is trying to make a go at it, and why don't we help a fella out? Ryan's been kind to me, so the least I can do is be kind back to Ryan. Trev is already on it, grabbing the channel link by the looks of things, because he's just, I like that.
Quick. Yep, there it is. Killer guitar tone.
If you're into that straight
music, damn it.
Which involves the straight pedals and the straight guitars and stuff, and we're not talking straight burr, but if you're into the straight music, Ryan has just about that tone just nailed.
Yeah.
So there is that. Ryan has some nice tone, and I'm not going to lie, Terry. He's a bit of a pecker. He almost knows where the notes are on the fretboard, even, which is always baffling to me. But definitely check out OU812 Ryan. I think he's live Thursdays and Sundays, and occasionally other days if he's bored.
Yeah. Right. I checked out the one night, and I think Ryan's channel and show is really good.
Yeah. So there we are.
Griper, you silly buggers, or Slayer,
or your jams in the house.
Object.
Speaking of pure sexiness, when does Smitty release his long-awaited foot fetish amateurs? Kurt was asking. Great show, boys.
You have to tune into the OnlyFans. You should get a notification if you're subscribed.
Yeah. So, I appreciate the super chat, Boner Jams. Nice. So, we got the Water Buffalo meeting this week. I need to do a Soda Pop video for this week. If not, I might just put out 2 music-related videos for once. Concept. I got to still upload some stuff because I ran out of data, and today's the last day of that data cycle. So, get that taken care of. Tomorrow, I'm going to upload videos. Doug Strong says, apparently I'm going to be in Nashville in October. Managed to convince the wife for our anniversary, assuming I can manage to score tickets to John Mayer's solo tour this week. Nice.
Interesting. More to come on that Saturday, I'm sure. We'll hear about his trials and tribulations of sourcing such tickets.
Oh, update to the what's turning into the Canuck Fest invasion at the Cosmo Music Fest. We've got report in that Rob Baker is going to be coming in from Delaware for the event.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That's very wild. I will show those next week, Scott. That's what I'm saying. So, we're just about out of time here. Wow, yeah, we went well over the hour long as usual. 75 people in here. So we did, for you folks, we went long. To recap, at the Amp, we're going to talk about it on Sunday. And apparently Ryan Hall just showed up. Thanks for the hug. All right. Cool. Awesome. Oh, man. Do not tempt me with your mother's cooking. All right.
Awesome, Ryan.
I don't. All right, Terry. I'm not one to comment on someone's waistline. I don't like the term fat shaming, but Ryan and I do not have matching waistlines, and I'm blaming that on his mother's cooking. So I would very much like to imbibe in his mother's cooking.
Yeah,
it's
you
the
could
first
probably
Saturday
use a
in
couple
June.
inches, Ben.
Bo, first Saturday, I think it's June 3rd. First Saturday in June.
Right on.
So yeah.
And Hey Boner. Jams.
So
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I want to try Mama Hall's cooking. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I ever make it down to Ryan's neck of the woods, I'm like, road trip. He goes, where are we going? I'm like, your mother's?
That's right. Gonna go all out, put up the spread too.
He goes, oh, you're gonna make me wear sleeves? I'm like, that's on you, dude.
Just don't tell your cousin Doug. He might think it's a buffet. Just saying.
Doug would be out there, got the cornhole board set up by the time we even show up. Right? By the time you showed up.
Where's the buffet? This isn't a buffet, Doug. Oh.
Nice, Bo. That'd be cool if you made it up. Doug Strong says, I'm pretty sure any home-cooked meal is where I want to be. Yep. And I'm just saying, you know, just putting faces to names and chats on the Water Buffalo meetings.
Yep.
See, unbelievable? You know, we can tell
Unbelievable.
who has the better cooks in the households, Trev. Or lack of exercise in said households. One or the other, but probably both. You know, I'm just saying.
There you go.
Sweet.
You've been approved.
Sweet. I know how to be all, you know. I can acclimate and, you know, assimilate. That's the word I'm looking for, Trev. Assimilate. You know, I've gone undercover in the South on occasion, and I feel confident I can do it again. You know, like if they see the ponytail, they go, "Hey, you hippie!" I'm like, "Skinner!" Boom, we're all good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, all right. Doug says his wife can't cook toast. Dang it, Doug. So.
Well, I should hope she can't cook toast because you're not supposed to cook toast.
You toast? Actually, you toast bread. You don't.
Exactly.
Toast is done. Then again, no. I'm thinking Doug's wife does cook toast, Terry. I think she does.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. She can't cook
Yeah. That's the ironic part of that statement. Yeah. So, on that note, Terry's being Terry. Trev's being Trev. I've been myself. Yeah, funny. You were typing, Terry. I was already thinking. It was like the Patreon thing, but in reverse. So, we're going to skedaddle. And Joe Alba in the house. Oh, you bastard, Mark. Mark's a good baker. I'm just going to say that right now. Mark's a good baker. And because Mark's a good baker, maybe we'll do this special video again, or another special video featuring one of his favorite people. And so, on that note, hold those doors open. Let Rob Baker ahead of you in traffic. He's got to get from Delaware to Toronto. So, it's like an 8.5 hour drive, he said. So, be good to each other. Happy tone chasing. And, of course, just don't let her.
See you, Dad.
Okay, I added some stuff to the thing, and I